custodians of tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. Prime Minister Honorable James Marape, thank you for joining us despite what is going on in the Parliament. Minister for Tourism and Arts, Honorable Beldan Nama, thank you for breathing life into this industry. CEO of TPA, Eric Moxman and your team, thank you for organizing this event. You've been the foundation of all of this. I just wanted to thank you and your team for this collaboration with MRDC. I would like to acknowledge the sponsorship of ExxonMobil and Augustine Mining Limited. Despite being in the extractive industry, they have supported us in this conference. So just wanted to thank them for being the gold sponsor. Also, other bronze sponsors who've made this event happen, just wanted to thank you also. I would like to acknowledge the presence of all the ministers and members of parliament who are here also, and also all the department heads. And of course, the key stakeholders who have been supporting this industry for a very long time. So thank you for taking the time up and making this occasion very important. MRDC has decided to partner with TPA in this event to raise awareness to the government and all relevant stakeholders about the untapped potential of this sector and the challenges we need to address so our people can reap the full benefits of tourism. The tourism sector can help address some of the current economic hardship we are facing, such as the forex issues, unemployment, supporting SMEs, and other income-generating opportunities at a lower level. At present, we are not feeling the impact on the industry because our tourism numbers are just too small. Last year, we only had 135,000 visitors, compared to more than 1 million in Fiji, 3.2 million in New Zealand, and 7.4 million in Australia. You see the scale? Even that 132, only 40% is the traveling tourism. Rest are from the cruises. To give you the scale where we are at the global scale, last year exports from just tourism was about 1.9 trillion US dollars. That's the statistics from United Nations Tourism Organization. Global adventure tourism alone was valued at almost US 461.3 billion in 2004. This is projected to reach almost 2.6 trillion in 2023. Now we talk about PNG having all the ecosystem and culture. We are supposed to be high up there, and you look at the numbers here. It gives you the scale that we are in. The question is, what percentage of this massive market can we attract to PNG with what we have in terms of our natural resource and our cultural diversity? Imagine if PNG had 1 million tourists visiting the country and just spent $1,000 US. I'm sure tourists come here spend more than $1,000 when they come here. That's $1 billion into the economy. If they spend $2,000, and if we had maybe 2 million visitors, that is 3 billion, which is one WAFI project every year. Now, WAFI project takes 6 years to deliver. This is one WAFI project every year, and if you maintain it, that's sustainable. And the beauty of tourism is that money is injected direct into the economy, touching all sectors, unlike mining and petroleum, which goes to the state and a select few. The multiplying effect of tourism is much higher. So tourism, when planned right, can impact all facets of the economy. This conference is intended to stimulate discussions and conversation around key issues in the sector, and hopefully to trigger for transformation that this industry needs. MRDC owns hotels in Fiji, Samoa, and PNG, and in the last decade has been exposed in the hospitality sector. I've realized that the tourism sector is a significant contributor of economic growth in many countries in the region, except in this country, where it is at the bottom of the food chain. There is no alignment or incentive when it comes to government support for private sector investment in tourism. That is why the sector has remained stagnant for a long time. I pay homage to pioneers like Bob Bates, who dedicated his entire life to adventure tourism in PNG, building world-class, famous resorts like Ambua, Karawari, and Bensback Lodge. It's not easy to survive on adventure tourism like that. And there is late Sir Peter, who built a Mending resort and once used to be this beautiful ship. These are some of the names that come to my mind. They have passionately promoted the country through this sector with no support, but through pure entrepreneurial adventure spirit for the love of this country. After 50 years of independence, surely things have to be done differently. I've realized that the missing link is capturing the critical mass to transform the tourism industry, which ultimately needs collaboration and partnership between the government and the private sector. So how do you achieve this critical mass? In order to achieve this critical mass, we need to identify the province or region which has feasible tourist products. They have to do proper land use planning to ensure local participation from the beginning to align with a developed integrated tourism infrastructure. That's very, very important. And of course, with the support of the government. Let me give you an example how it works. My favorite example is always East New Britain, if I were to choose a province. The province has all facets that meet an ideal tourist location to ignite tourism on a major scale. Imagine developing Takwa into a world-class international airport. That'll be just 3.5 hours from Brisbane, 2 hours from Cairns, 6 hours, 30 minutes from Hong Kong, 4 hours from Narita, and of course, 4 hours from Guam, USA. It's a strategic hub. The airport can be a hub to feed the domestic tourism in other provinces in PNG. With the appropriate government intervention, such as creating a tourism economic zone. I know we all like the famous other special economic zone, but I call it tourist economic zone as an incentive for private sector investment. Specific tourist products such as cultural event, diving, adventure, surfing, war history, volcano, geothermal. The potentials are endless as a province in Eastern Britain. The fiscal incentives can be attractive to institutions such as us, MRDC, or the super funds and other private sector to invest in hotels, accommodation, bring in brands like Hilton, Marriott, IHG, which are already here, so we don't need to convince them. And world-class facilities can be established there. Look at Port Donarau, which is the major tourism hub in Fiji. It is just 2.5 square kilometers and has 9 hotel brands with over 1,358 rooms. It is the major hub that feeds and channels tourism all across Fiji. But Fiji has only white sandy beaches and friendly people, whereas Eastern Britain has endless tourism product. The objective here is to start with one successful destination and create a PNG identity that sells as a brand that will stimulate tourism throughout the country. You can't sell PNG when they look at all the lull and all the problem and all this. You need to sell a brand. People come to Indonesia not because of Indonesia. They come to Indonesia because of Bali. That's how we create a brand that sells. That's the critical mass that is needed in this country. So you'll ask me, why is MRDC interested in tourism? We have invested in the Pacific and this beautiful, magnificent facility, but have not promoted tourism where our beneficiaries live. All the largest petroleum and mining projects in PNG are located in some of the most beautiful and pristine environment found on Earth, as you have seen in the video. The potential for collaboration between project operators and landowners to develop sustainable tourism products is there, but has been undervalued and overlooked. We realize that we can preserve the natural beauties of the project areas to showcase the world and commercialize it in a sustainable way. It has taken us this long to realize that the most valuable treasure that God has passed to our ancestors is not gold and all, but the natural beauty around us. That's why MRDC this year has taken the initiative to invest in a hotel in Tari. We will expand to Kurubu. We will expand to Kikori and Kionga. Of course, the success of all these projects depend on law and order issues, the high transportation cost, and other challenges which will be, of course, addressed in this conference. I hope over the next 2 days of this conference, the discussion can help foster a path where government, the private sector, and all stakeholders can collaborate to unlock the potential that we, the industry, can deliver to our people. Thank you.